So in the previous class we have discussed about significance of public administration. So previously we have completed scope of public administration, nature of public administration, significance of public administration, all right. So this is what we have discussed in the previous class. So let me talk about growing importance of public administration. Growing importance of public administration. That is the reason for increased importance. Of public administration. So do you think that the importance of public administration is increasing or decreasing? Do you think that the role of public administration or the importance of public administration, whether it is increasing or decreasing? So what is your answer? So there is an increasing importance, right? Remember, as long as human society exists on this earth, the importance of public administration will be there, and it always increases. So we see increased significance of public administration. That means the importance of public administration never comes down. Even in the era of privatization, in the era of liberalization. So don't think that because of reduced role of state, because of reduced role of government, the role of public administration is coming down. Never have this kind of thinking. Never think that with the decreasing role of government, the public's role will come down, right? So irrespective, because when the role of government is coming down, all right, on one hand we see decreased role of state, on one hand we see decrease in the role of government, on the other hand we see increased role of private sector, right? So because of privatization, and marketization, that is increased role of markets, we see a decreased role of state, and at the same time we see increase in the role of private sector. But because of the shift in the role of state, we see new challenges being emerged. So because of this shift, we see a new kind of challenges, right, being coming up. All right. Now who should take all these challenges? Who should face all these challenges? Who should face the challenges? Who should take this, what you call, who should observe, right? Who should act as a shock observant? Who should observe all these challenges? It is again by public administration. So public administration always acts as a shock observer. It should take the challenges, it should act as a balancing wheel between the interest of state as well as interest of private sector, right? That means as long as the society exists, the state exists, the importance of public administration will be there even in the era of privatization. So let me talk about different factors. Let me talk about different factors that really increasing the role of public administration. Let us understand, let us try to understand different factors. Let us try to understand different factors that are behind increasing role of public administration or increasing importance of public administration. This was the question asked. This was the question asked in 2023 mains exam. The very first question, right? The very first question of 2023 mains exam is about increasing significance of public administration, right? In the era of globalization. In the era of globalization. Okay. First one is changing needs of society. Changing needs of society. Can we accept, can we say that the needs of society are ever changing? Can we say that the needs of society are ever changing? Yes. So we see a change in the needs of society, right? The needs of society are increasing, right? The needs of society are changing. So 3 decades back, let me take the example, 1960s to 1980s, almost all from 1950s, that is right after independence, right? If you take the needs of society, all right, it was the basic needs, all right? Society, the people demanded, people required the basic needs. People required basic needs. But today, people are just, whether this the people or the society just requires these basic needs. Do you think that, right, providing of basic needs are just enough to the society? What do you mean by basic needs? Right, we have a simple definition of roti, kapda or makan. Now people are just demanding this roti, kapda or makan. Whether people are just demanding this roti, kapda or makan, whether they are just asking these food, cloth and shelter. No. The needs of society has increased. The demands of the society have increased. Alright. So now they seek everything, particularly in the technology driven society. Today's society is marked by technology. So everything is driven by technology. Alright. Now in this technology driven society, people's needs, demands have increased. Not only in the number of demands, but even the complexity also got increased. So we see an increase demands of people and society. We see an increase both in quantity as well as in quality. Both in quantity as well as in quality, right? And this quality has brought a complexity. Alright? So people demand better services, timely services. They require timely services. Say for example, alright, law and order, right? Providing security, all the forms of security, right? So today providing security is not that easy because the threat is not seen physically, right? It is not just a physical threat. It is not just a physical threat. It is not just a physical threat. The threat is in different forms. It is not just a physical threat. The threat is in different forms. Alright. Today we see increased usage of social media. Today we see increased usage of social media. Don't you think that the social media is also posing a security challenge? Don't you think that the social media is also posing a security challenge? Yes or no? Whether a security challenge has been posed or not. The one who are in online, give me the answers. Right? So, social media, right, is now has become a big threat. It has they are posing all the challenges. They are posing all the challenges. Today we see that a security challenge because of this social media, right? Spreading of rumors, right? You take any kind of conflicts, right? The communal conflicts, the caste conflicts, the religious conflicts, the political conflicts, right? So all these are spread. All these are spread because of social media. So social media is posing. Social media is posing all the. Social media is posing, right, a kind of security threat, right? So we see this is, so now people want security. People want security from all these kind of challenges. People want this security. Okay. Alright. Coming to other kinds of demands, alright. Employment generation, protection of rights of people, protection of rights of people. So these are different types of demands that are emanating from the society, right? So people want, right, every machinery that is available, particularly, right, to redress their grievances, right? So grievance redressal machineries. So all these are the new things, all these are the essentials of society, right? Remember, this is one factor, right? So these are one factor that is behind increased importance of public administration. So we are talking about the growing importance of public administration. So what are the factors? What are the contemporary factors? I am talking about the contemporary factors, that is present day factors. So present ఉన్న factors, and what are that factors which are increasing the importance, or which are behind the increased importance of public administration. So changes in the needs of society, both in quantity as well as in terms of quality, right? So quantity change as well as quality change, right? This is one thing. Now coming to another factors, right? Now today we see usage of information technology, ICT. It is information and communication technology. So with the usage of this information technology, the gap between citizen and administration has increased or decreased, right? The interaction between citizen and administration has increased. So today people have come more closer to administration. We see active involvement of people in the administration. So because of this active involvement of people with the administration, right, now the responsibility of administration towards people has increased or decreased, right? Now administration need to be more attentive. Administration should provide all the required things to the people. Now this is one thing. So today we are using information technology, right? And we want people to participate in the administration. That is what the intention of using of information technology. Now who should take the responsibility of penetrating this information technology to the grassroots levels. Who should take the responsibility of ensuring that everyone in the society use technology, everyone in the society participates in the administration? Who should take the responsibility? It is again administrator. That means with the usage of information technology, the importance of public administration and administrators has increased or decreased? It has increased. All right, this is one thing. Now coming to the political consciousness of the people. All right, so political consciousness of people, whether it has increased or decreased. So with the increased levels of education, we see an increase, right, in the political consciousness, and obviously we should not undermine the role of what we call local bodies. Today we have constitutionally established local bodies in India. Because of these local bodies, because of these grassroots level institutions, the political consciousness has increased. Now, because of this increased political consciousness, people always demand services from the public administration. So with the rise in political consciousness among people and society, the importance of public administration has increased. Coming to the nature of state, right? Whether the 21st century state is same as that of previous state. All right. So if you take the changing nature of state, this is very important. If you take the changing nature of state, all right. If you take the changing nature of state, that is nations. So we are in a globalized world. That is, every nation is networked. It is networked with other nations. Right? There is a continuous interactions. Between the countries. Because of globalization, we see a continuous interaction between the nations or countries. Alright. Now, because of this continuous interaction, right, can we see the influence of one nation over the other nation? What is the impact of this globalization? We see, right, impact of one nation over the other nations. This is one thing. Second thing is, right, global policies are implemented at the local levels. Right, global policies or international policies, they are implemented in the member countries. All right. Now, without changing these global laws or without changing the local conditions, it is possible to implement these policies or what we call laws. International policies and international laws can be implemented without any modification or not, or do they need any kind of modifications for their implementation? Global policies, global laws implement cheyali ante, right? Global policies, global laws implement cheyali ante, modifications avsarama, avsaram leda? Avsarame, right? You say that it is required. So these modifications are important. Now, who should make these modifications? Right? It is the public administrators. It is the public administrators who should take the what we call initiation. It is a public administration. We should take the responsibility of bringing all the required modifications either in the global laws or in the local conditions, and it is the public administration who should ensure smooth implementation of these global policies. It is these public administrators, right, who should anticipate the kind of upcoming challenges because of globalization. Globalization undi, right? We see impact of the global world order on the member countries. Now this impact will always pose a challenge. ఇప్పుడు ఎలాంటి ఛాలెంజెస్ ఉంటాయి, ఈ ఛాలెంజెస్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి, ఛాలెంజెస్ని ఎలా ఓవర్కమ్ కావాలి? సో వీటిని ఎవరు యాంటిసిపేట్ చేయాలి? Who should anticipate all these kind of challenges? It is public administration. Right? So public administrators are in the best position. Except public administrators, no one can imagine, no one can anticipate. Can you expect the politicians to anticipate all these kind of things? Can you expect the political system, the MPs and MLAs to anticipate these kind of challenges? ఎంపీస్ ఎమ్మెల్యేస్ ఇవన్నీ ఛాలెంజెస్ని ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేస్తారా? వాళ్ళకి ఏం తెలుసు సార్? వాళ్ళు ఏమైనా చదువుకున్నారా? వాళ్ళు చదువుకోలేదు. దే ఆర్ నాట్ దట్ లర్న్డ్ మెన్, దే ఆర్ లేమెన్, దే ఆర్ అమెచ్యూర్స్. హూ ఆర్ ప్రొఫెషనల్స్? ఇట్ ఈస్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్. They are selected on the principle of merit. Their merits are tested and they have every ability of understanding every kind of upcoming challenge. So because of this globalization, don't you think that the importance of public administration got increased or decreased? Increased. Alright? Global issues, alright? Challenging issues. Alright? Today we talk about challenges of climate change. Alright? Challenges of terrorism. Alright? Challenges of other kind of conflicts. Gender violence. Antena? What are the new challenges that the world is facing? Remember, public administration requires what you call understanding of the world around you. Alright? As a student of public administration, you should always be attentive to the happenings around the world. What are the present happenings around the world? Cyber attacks. So today we all talk about protection from cyber attacks, using of artificial intelligence, alright? Growing challenges of artificial intelligence, growing threat of artificial intelligence, alright? And what about missile attacks? Interstate conflicts, the countries, the conflicts between the nations. We have seen what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. Alright? And what is the impacts of this war on human societies? What is the impact of war on the people, the societies? Do these wars have any conducive atmosphere to live? Whether these wars, right? ఈ వార్స్ మనుషులు బ్రతకడానికి కావాల్సిన ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తానయా? మీరు చూడండి, వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ పాలస్తీన్ నౌ, రైట్? ఇన్ గాజా ఎవ్రీ డే యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ kids are dying, right? Children are dying, women are dying, people are not getting food to eat, people are not having place to live because of these wars, right? We see the societies, the civilizations getting extincted, increased rivalries between the nation, competition between the nation. What is the challenge? The China's aggression on what we call Taiwan, ante kada, right? The attack of Russia on the Ukraine and Ukraine on Russia. We have seen religious fundamentalism. Now, who should be ready to face all these kind of challenges? Who should provide solutions to these challenges? Every solutions. Public administration. మరి చెప్పండి, పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ తగ్గుతుందా పెరుగుతుందా? ఇదే క్వశ్చన్ 2023 మెయిన్స్కి. పొద్దున మీకు ఒక అవుట్లైన్ ఇచ్చిన. హ్యావ్ యూ సీన్ ద వీడియో? ఐ పోస్టెడ్ వీడియో ఆన్ హౌ టు రైట్ ఆన్సర్స్. సో రెగ్యులర్లీ ఐ విల్ పోస్ట్ వీడియోస్ ఆన్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్. Already there are videos, right? But after starting of this institution, I have never made any video on public administration answer writing. So from today I have started this, right? So what I have discussed now, it is the answer for 2023 mains question, very first question of 2023 mains exam. So now can you say that the horizons of public administration is increasing, ever expanding or not? Yes, the scope of public administration is ever expanding. నిన్న ఇచ్చిన క్వశ్చన్ మీకు కదా, అది లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ ఇచ్చిన ఎగ్జామ్లో. రైట్? సో దీస్ ఆర్ ది కంటెంపరీ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్, రైట్? దీస్ ఆర్ ది కంటెంపరీ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్, రైట్? విచ్ ఆర్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ about the significance. So we have seen the significance of public administration and the contemporary factors that are responsible for increasing importance of public administration. So can we say that the world cannot exist without public administration? Can we say that the world cannot, no civilization can exist without public administration? Now we can heartfully say that it is never possible for any society to exist without public administration, right? So this is what the point is. Now slowly we will try to understand how this public administration got evolved. Let us try to understand evolution of public administration. Alright, as I said, public administration got evolved by getting separated from political science. Alright, it got evolved by getting separated from political science. Alright. So it is because of the efforts of Woodrow Wilson. It is because of efforts of Woodrow Wilson, public administration, right? Public administration has emerged. PubAd has emerged as a separate discipline. It has emerged as a separate discipline because of the efforts of Woodrow Wilson. Right? So first let me give the facts about this what we call evolution. Alright. We can understand evolution of public administration in 6 different stages. Alright. We can understand evolution of public administration. We can understand evolution of public administration in 6 different stages. Stage 1. Stage 1, it is called as dichotomy. Right? Stage 1 is called as dichotomy. That is from 1887 to 1926. Stage 2, it is the stage of principles. Principal stage. Alright, from 1927 to 1937. Stage 3, it is regarded as era of challenge. It is era of challenge from 1937 to 1947. That is from 1938 to 1947. Stage 4, crisis of identity. Crisis of identity from 1947 to 1970. Alright. Stage 5, public policy perspective stage. Public policy perspective stage. It is public policy perspective stage from 1970 to 1990. Alright. Stage 6, it is the stage of liberalization, privatization and globalization, which is from 1991 till date. That is till present. So in that Lakshmikant book, it is only 5 stages. Not only in Lakshmikant, in most of the textbooks of public administration, you can see only these 5 stages. Right? And if you want, we can also add a new stage in the evolution of public administration. That is stage 7. అది మన ఇష్టం, మన కన్వీనియన్స్ కోసం మనము 7th స్టేజ్ కూడా యాడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. దాని పేరే న్యూ పబ్లిక్ గవర్నెన్స్, ఎన్పిజి. రైట్, ఫ్రమ్ 2010 ఆన్వర్డ్స్. రైట్. సో న్యూ పబ్లిక్ గవర్నెన్స్ నిజంగానే మీరు మీ టాలెంట్ చూపించాలి ఎగ్జామ్లో అనుకుంటే ఈ 7th స్టేజ్ యాడ్ చేసుకోండి. ఇట్ ఈస్ న్యూ పబ్లిక్ గవర్నెన్స్, ఎన్పిజి. So it is for the students of Amarnath. You can use this 7th stage, new public governance. Ante this is one of the landmark event, right? It is one of the landmark events in the evolution of public administration. So it is very easy. It is very easy to understand evolution of public administration by using these stages, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6. Right, undoubtedly you can write up to stage 6. Coming to stage 7, right, you can mention it as an additional point. Alright, so it is up to you. Alright, it is up to you. So this is one way, and there is another approach of understanding evolution of public administration. There is another approach, correct, in the evolution of public administration. That is the approach that was actually given by Robert T. Golumbevsky. Alright, Robert T. I think you have seen that name. No, you will come to say. A very important personality. Alright? రాబర్ట్ టీ గొలుంబెవిస్కి. మీకు పెద్దగా బాగా కష్టంగా అనిపిస్తే మనం చిన్నగా ముద్దు పేరు పెట్టుకుందాం, గోలుబాయ్. రైట్? సో ఇట్ ఈస్ గివెన్ బై అవర్ గోలుబాయ్. గొలుంబెవిస్కి, GOLEMBEWSKI, గొలుంబెవిస్కి. రాబర్ట్ టీ గొలుంబెవిస్కి. రైట్? సో when you read Henry Fayol, sorry, not Henry, if you take the Nicholas Henry book, right? Nicholas Henry book of public administration, where in Nicholas Henry book the evolution of public administration is discussed in terms of paradigms. A paradigmatic approach. A paradigmatic approach was used by Nicholas Henry. తన బుక్లో ఎవల్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ని రైట్ పారాడిమ్ వైజ్గా డిస్క్రైబ్ చేసిండు. పారాడిమ్ 1, పారాడిమ్ 2, పారాడిమ్ 3, పారాడిమ్ 4, పారాడిమ్ 5. పారాడిమ్ 1 ఇట్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ డైకాటమీ. పారాడిమ్ 1 ఈస్ డైకాటమీ. పారాడిమ్ 2 ప్రిన్సిపల్స్. Paradigm 3 public administration as political science. Paradigm 4 public administration as management. Public administration as management. Paradigm 5 public public policy. It is public policy, right? So these are the paradigms. These are the paradigms that are used by Nicholas Henry in his 5 paradigms. Alright? So public administration as political science, pub as management, and public policy, that is public administration as public administration. Right? So this is how Nicholas Henry has described the evolution of public administration. But even before Nicholas Henry, actually this approach was given by Golumbevsky. Right? So irrespective of the approach, right? So we will follow the stage wise approach of understanding evolution of public administration. There is no much difference between the paradigmatic approach or the stage wise approach, right? So stage wise approach is normally used by Indian thinkers, right? It is normally used by Indian thinkers, and it is easy to understand evolution of public administration. It is easy to understand evolution of public administration. All right? So let me start with stage 1. All right? The stage 1, which is called as dichotomy. It is called as dichotomy stage. Right? So dichotomy means it is separation. It is separation. Dichotomy means it is separation. Separation of public administration from political science. Alright? Separation of public administration from political science. Alright? So the entire stage 1 is based upon the stage 1 entirely is based upon the views and ideas of Woodrow Wilson. It is purely based upon the ideas, views of Woodrow Wilson. The ideas, views of Woodrow Wilson. Alright? So because it is this Woodrow Wilson in his article The Study of Administration, right? In his article The Study of Administration, which was published in 1887. Alright? In this article, The Study of Administration. The Study of Administration. So this is an article that was presented by Woodrow Wilson, right, in the American Society for Political Science. American Society for Political Science. Right? So in that quarterly journal, Alright, then an article was written by Woodrow Wilson, and the article is titled as The Study of Administration. So in this article, Woodrow Wilson has strongly argued for separation of public administration from political science. Alright, so gurtu pettukondi. So this is the article written by Woodrow Wilson, which was published in American Society for Political Science, right, in the quarterly journal of American Society for Political Science. Woodrow Wilson's article, The Study of Administration, strongly pleaded for separation of public administration from political science. And he has given enough number of reasons. Right, to separate public administration from political science. And because of this, he is called as father of public administration. Right, Woodrow Wilson is called as father of public administration. Alright, now there won't be a question paper without a question on Wilson view. Alright, Wilson view is very, very, very important. Definitely there will be a question on Woodrow Wilson's view for every once in every 2 years. That is, every alternate year you will see a question on Wilson. విల్సన్ మీద లేకుండా, విల్సన్ మీద టాపిక్ లేకుండా క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ఉండదు, బ్లైండ్ అది. సో వాట్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ వ్యూస్, అండ్ దట్ టు ఇట్ విల్ బి ఫ్రమ్ what you call stage 1. It will be from stage 1, right? So here what you are required to do is you should just try to understand me, how I am explaining each and every statement, because it is these kind of arguments which you are required to write in the exam, right? So Woodrow Wilson says that, right? So to know the reasons for separating administration from politics, right? You should understand what you call the backdrop of American conditions, because without having an idea about American conditions, it is not possible to know the reasons why Woodrow Wilson wanted to separate what you call administration from politics, right? So manaku అమెరికన్ కండిషన్స్ ఐడియా ఉంటే తప్పించి మనకి పూర్తిగా అర్థం కాదు, ఓకేనా? సో ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ I'll try to provide the basic socio-economic conditions of America at that point of time, right? At that point of time, say these are the times of 1880s. It is an years of 1880s, right? We can regard this 1880s as a turbulent years in the history of America, right? We can call them as turbulent years. In the history of America. American historyలో ఒక ఛాలెంజింగ్ టైమ్స్ ఇవి. ఎందుకు ఛాలెంజింగ్ టైమ్స్ అంటే, ఒకటి, హైయెస్ట్ అన్రెస్ట్ అమాంగ్ ద పీపుల్. దేర్ ఈజ్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్ అన్రెస్ట్ అమాంగ్ ద పీపుల్, పర్టికులర్లీ అమాంగ్ ద యూత్, right? So people were totally dissatisfied with the working of American government, because American government is not providing employment, right? There is no employment, there is no incomes, there is highest amount of poverty in America, there is racial discrimination, no jobs, no industries, nothing. And it was in 1880 or 1881, I don't know, American president was assassinated. In the history of America, recently we have seen, right, the death of Iranian president Raisi, right? So America has a history of assassinating the presidents. ఇప్పటికీ 3 అమెరికన్ ప్రెసిడెంట్స్ని చంపబడడం జరిగింది. అందులో ఒకడు what you call 1880s. American president was killed by one of the unemployed youth in 1881. అంటే అర్థం, what is the reason for killing? Because of poverty, because of unemployment. People were not satisfied with the working of government. So there was a total unrest in American society. People were blaming the American administration, they were blaming the American government. So it was in that backdrop, even the scholars in American universities, right? Americalo unna universities ante the scholars from political science, from economics, from law, it is not just about one department. Even the scholars of American universities, they were, scholars means the professors. The professors of American universities, they were worried about the American conditions. So they wanted to do something. Academically, they want to do something. And it was in that process that Woodrow Wilson, who was a part of political science, he said that the problem is in American administration, the problem is in American politics. Unless administration is separated from politics, it is not possible for the administration to meet all the growing demands of American people. So to meet the needs of American people, what is required? First, administration should be set right. Administration should be reformed. Reform should be brought in American administration. అమెరికాలో అన్రెస్ట్ తగ్గించాలి అంటే, అమెరికాలో పీస్ తీసుకురావాలి అంటే, రైట్, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ రిఫార్మ్ చేయాలి. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఆఫ్ రిఫార్మ్స్? రైట్, ద రిఫార్మ్స్ ఈస్ సపరేట్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఫ్రమ్ పాలిటిక్స్. Administration should not be kept under political system. Administration should be given adequate freedom from the political system. Ante kada? Yes or no? If administration is not given adequate freedom, whether administration will work for people or for the political system. When freedom is not given from political system, administration will be meant only for politics but not for people. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఎవరి కోసం ఉంది? ప్రజల కోసం ఉందా, పాలిటిక్స్ కోసం ఉందా? ప్రజల కోసం ఉన్నది. కానీ ఎప్పుడైతే అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ మీద పాలిటిక్స్ పెత్తనం ఉంటుందో అప్పుడు అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ పీపుల్ కోసం కాదు, పాలిటిక్స్ కోసం పనిచేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఐఎమ్ ఏ క్లియర్? రైట్, ఐఎమ్ ఏ క్లియర్ ఆర్ నాట్? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ద ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ గివెన్ బై వుడ్రో విల్సన్. సో వై అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ షుడ్ బి separated from politics? This is, if you want administration to meet the needs of people, if you want administration to be responsive to the needs of people, administration should be given adequate freedom from politics. Today we have seen, right, there is a big issue going in Telangana, the issue of phone tapping. Right, there is a big issue going in Telangana. That is the issue of phone tapping. Do you have this idea? Do you have the idea about phone tapping issue in Telangana? Hyderabad lo pedda issue. Right? The highest level police officers are now been arrested. They have been sent to remand. They are in custody. Now, what is the issue? The government, the political system has used these public servants for their needs. They have used these police officers to tap the phones of opposition parties. అంటే ప్రీవియస్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఏం చేసింది? పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్స్ని వాడుకొని, రైట్, అపోజిషన్ పార్టీస్ సంబంధించిన ఫోన్స్ని ట్యాప్ చేయించింది. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు చేసింది ఎవరు? అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్. జైల్లో ఉంది ఎవరు? అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్. వాట్ అబౌట్ ది గవర్నమెంట్? ఫర్ దెమ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ టు డూ. దే కమ్ అండ్ గో. ప్రాబ్లం ఫేస్ చేయాల్సింది ఎవరు? అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్సే. ఇది ఒక పెద్ద లెసన్ for practicing administrators as well as the students of public administration. They should take this as a case study. Phone tapping issue అనేది ఒక కేస్ స్టడీ లాగా వాడుకోవాలి మనం. రైట్, సో దట్ మీన్స్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్ ఆర్ bureaucrats, public administrators, they should always maintain that neutrality. If neutrality is not maintained, who will be made as scapegoats? ఇవాళ ఏమైంది ఫోన్ ట్యాపింగ్ కేసులో? స్కేప్ గోట్స్ ఎవరు? బలిపశులు ఎవరు? పొలిటీషియన్సా, బ్యూరోక్రాట్సా? పోలీసులు వీళ్ళ ఆఫీసర్లే కదా, వాళ్ళే కదా మొత్తం బలైపోయింది. ఎందుకు బలైపోయిండు? మీరు ఒకప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ ఫేవర్డ్ ది గవర్నమెంట్, యూ హ్యావ్ వయలేటెడ్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ న్యూట్రాలిటీ. వాట్ ఈస్ ద గైడింగ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్? వాట్ ఈస్ ద గైడింగ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వీసెస్? ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ న్యూట్రాలిటీ, ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ అనానిమిటీ. ఇవి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. మీకు ఎథిక్స్లో చాలా 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఏరియా ఇది. కోడ్ ఆఫ్ కండక్ట్ ఫర్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వెంట్స్ అంటాం మనం. రైట్, వాట్ ఇస్ ద కోడ్ ఆఫ్ కండక్ట్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్స్, గైడింగ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్? ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ న్యూట్రాలిటీ. న్యూట్రాలిటీ ఫ్రమ్ హూమ్? న్యూట్రాలిటీ టు ది పొలిటికల్ సిస్టమ్. ఇంపార్షియల్ వర్కింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ పొలిటికల్ సిస్టమ్. ఎవరు గవర్నమెంట్ ఫామ్ చేసినా, ఏ పొలిటికల్ పార్టీ గవర్నమెంట్ ఫామ్ చేసినా అందరికీ ఒకేలాంటి సర్వీస్ ఇవ్వడము, అది పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్ రోల్. అలా కాకుండా నేను ఈ గవర్నమెంట్ ఫేవర్ చేస్తా, ఈ పొలిటికల్ పార్టీకి ఫేవర్ చేస్తా అంటే కుదరదు. ఒకవేళ పబ్లిక్ సర్వెంట్స్ ఒక పొలిటికల్ పార్టీకి కానీ ఒక గవర్నమెంట్ కానీ ఫేవర్ చేస్తే ఏమవుద్ది, రైట్? ఇట్ విల్ లీడ్ టు వయలేషన్ ఆఫ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ న్యూట్రాలిటీ. దీనివల్ల ఏమవుతుంది? నో టుడే కెన్ వి ట్రస్ట్ ది వాట్ యు కాల్, వెదర్ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ అ ట్రస్ట్ ఆన్ ది బ్యూరోక్రాట్స్, వెదర్ పీపుల్ విల్ ట్రస్ట్ ది పబ్లిక్ సర్వెంట్స్. వెన్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వెంట్స్ కీప్ ఆన్ వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ పొలిటీషియన్స్, వాట్ అబౌట్ ద ట్రస్ట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ అండ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్? నమ్మకం ఉంటుందా? అందరూ ఒకటే సార్, రేపు మీరు ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసులో అయినా మీ పెద్దగా ఏం జరగదు, మీరు ఐఏఎస్లో అయినా ఐపీఎస్లో అయినా లాస్ట్కి మీరు పని చేయాల్సింది పొలిటీషియన్ కోసమే తప్పించి ప్రజల కోసం కాదనుకుంటారు. అంటే ప్రజలకు నమ్మకం పోతుంది. అర్థమైందా? ఇది ఒక పెద్ద కేస్ స్టడీ. అందుకనే సో దీనివల్ల ఏమవుతుంది, యు ఆర్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ పీపుల్ బట్ ఫర్ పొలిటికల్ సిస్టమ్. సో ఇఫ్ యు వాంట్ ది అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ టు బి ఎఫిషియంట్, వాట్ నీడ్ టు బి డన్? It should be removed from the influence of politics. That is what Woodrow Wilson said. 1880sలో ఒక టర్బులెంట్ టైమ్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు Woodrow Wilson recommended that, right, unless administration is separated from politics, it is not possible to meet the needs of people. It is not possible to implement policies, programs, laws effectively and efficiently. What is the role of administration? How Woodrow Wilson has defined public administration? Systematic application of law, systematic execution of law. When there will be systematic application of law, when there will be systematic execution of public policies? Only when the administrators are separated from the influence of politics. Efficient implementation, effective implementation is possible only when administration is separated from the influence of politics. This was the main reason for separation. ఎందుకు సపరేట్ చేయాలో రైట్ వుడ్రో విల్సన్ క్లియర్గా చెప్పాడు. రైట్, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఎఫిషియెంట్గా చేయాలి అంటే, ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ ఎఫెక్టివ్గా ఉండాలి, ఎఫిషియెంట్గా ఉండాలి అంటే ఖచ్చితంగా సపరేట్ చేయాల్సిందే. తీసుకో దగ్గర లాగు, రైట్, సపరేట్ చేయాలి. సపరేట్ చేయకుండా ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్. Right? Without separation, it is not possible to have efficient administration. Woodrow Wilson says that, right? Administration lies outside the spheres of politics. Administration lies outside the spheres of politics. The spheres of politics are different from the spheres of public administration. Public administration lies outside the proper spheres of politics. That means the concerns of public administration are different from the concerns of politics. Right? Let me explain this point. So here Woodrow Wilson says that the questions of public administration, the questions of public administration is different from the questions of politics. Right? So what are the spheres of politics and what are the spheres of administration? What are the questions of politics and what are the questions of administration? Let us try to understand this. ఇప్పటికీ ఈ క్వశ్చన్ ఒక 10 times రావచ్చు యూపీఎస్సీ మెయిన్స్లో, ఇవి రెండు స్టేట్మెంట్స్. రైట్, సో పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్, ద స్పియర్స్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద స్పియర్స్ ఆఫ్ పాలిటిక్స్. రైట్, ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆఫ్ పాలిటిక్స్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. సో ఇఫ్ యు టేక్ పొలిటికల్ సైన్స్ ఆర్ పాలిటిక్స్, alright, if you take the politics, politics has to do with law making process. Right, politics has to do with law making, whereas administration, it is law implementation. Law implementation. Politics has to do with the legislative branch of the state, that is with the legislature, whereas administration has to do with executive branch of the state. So politics is primarily concerned with legislature, it is concerned with executive. Alright, politics is always guided by ideology. Politics is always guided by ideology, whereas administration, it is always guided by universal principles. Universal principles. Alright, so if you take politics, politics deals with what? Alright, what need to be given, what should be done, right? What should be the policy? So politics has to do with what, whereas public administration, it is about how to implement, how to execute. It is how to execute. Alright. So here we see involvement of normative considerations. Alright. Politics is normative, whereas administration is empirical. It is empirical. Alright. If you take the questions of administration, right, administration is primarily concerned with the best way of implementing efficiency, effectiveness and economy in the implementation, right. So public administration is always concerned with these 3 E's: efficiency, economy and effectiveness in implementation, the best way of implementing. So public administration is mainly concerned with what you call best implementing the laws or public policies, which are not concerned with politics. Politics will determine what is required, but how it to be implemented, right? What kind of principles should be used, right? What kind of rules should be used, how to promote efficiency in implementation, right? How to promote effectiveness in implementation. All right. So all these are the concerns of whom? These are the concerns of public administration. Whereas politics is not concerned about all these things. Politics is always driven by the ideology, because every political party has its own ideology, and it is this ideology which has an influence on making of laws. Yes or no? మీరు యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తారు దీన్ని? Political ideology plays a dominant role in policy making or law making. Every political party, communist ideology, socialist ideology, capitalist ideology, rightist ideology, leftist ideology, రకరకాల ideologies ఉన్నాయి. And every ideology has an influence. Every ideology has an influence on law making process. It has an influence on law making process. Alright. So politics is concerned about these kind of debates. It is always concerned about the debates and discussions. Can there be any scope for debates and discussions in administration? In administration లో డిబేట్స్ కి డిస్కషన్స్ కి ఏమైనా ప్లేస్ ఉందా? ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ మీద యూజ్ చేసుకో, ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయి, అంతే. ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ తగ్గట్టు, రూల్స్ తగ్గట్టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయడం. మరి ఇక్కడ డిబేట్స్కి డిస్కషన్స్కి ప్లేస్ ఉండదు. అదే లెజిస్లేచర్ అంటే కొట్టుకోవడము, తిట్టుకోవడము, డిస్కస్ చేసుకోవడం, డిబేట్ చేయడం, ఇవే కదా వాళ్ళ పని. సో పాలిటిక్స్ ఈజ్ కన్సర్న్ అబౌట్ దిస్. అందుకనే రైట్, Woodrow Wilson said that administration should be removed from the hurry and strife of politics. He said that public administration, Woodrow Wilson said that, alright, public administration should be removed from hurry and strife. Hurry and strife of politics. It is very easy to frame a constitution, right, rather than running a constitution. Right. So constitution means what? It is the constitutional laws. మీరు 4 గోడల మధ్యలో కూర్చొని ఏమైనా మాట్లాడుకుంటారు. మా కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఇలా ఉండాలి, లాస్ ఇలా ఉండాలి అని అన్నీ చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. చెప్పడం ఎంత ఈజీయే కదా, మరి చేయడము చాలా కష్టం. ఇక్కడ వెరీ ఈజీ టు ఫ్రేమ్ ఎ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ మీన్స్ వాట్? ఫ్రేమింగ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ లాస్, డిటర్మైనింగ్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. Who will determine the constitution? Who will frame the constitution? Whose duty is this? Whose duty is this? It is a duty of parliament. It is a duty of the politics. The politicians are meant to determine, they are meant to determine the nature of constitution. What kind of constitution you want? What kind of system do you want? You can determine anything. Today one political party comes and it says one thing, and tomorrow another political party comes, they will change the constitution. And that means for every 5 years or 4 years, what happens? Whenever a new political party comes in, they keep on changing the constitution. Now, when there is a continuous changes made to constitution, what will happen? When there are continuous changes made to constitution, what will happen? it will create confusions. That is what hurry and strife means. Confusions created by politics. Well, it is right to say that politics are meant to create confusions. Yes or no? Alright? Article 370 ఉందా పోయిందా? పోయింది, రివోక్డ్. రేపు మళ్ళీ పొలిటికల్ పార్టీ మారిపోతే, రైట్, పొలిటికల్ పార్టీ మారిపోతే ఎందుకు ఒప్పుకోదు? If there are enough reasons given, why judiciary will not accept? Alright, adding a new element to constitution, removing a new element, removing the existing element, it is up to the political system. The only thing is, basic structure should not be violated. So we take this politics, they keep on tinkering with the constitution, they keep on changing the constitution. So because of these changes, we see, right, difficulty in implementing the constitution. Today one political party comes to power, they will do something and they will ask something to do. If tomorrow another political party comes, it will make changes. Now who should suffer all these kind of changes? It is people, and more than people, it is administration. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్ బయటకు కనపడరు, కానీ గవర్నమెంట్స్ మారినప్పుడల్లా ఫస్ట్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ అయ్యేది అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషనే. వీళ్ళు అడ్జస్ట్ కావాలి కొత్త పొలిటికల్ పార్టీకి, కొత్త గవర్నమెంట్ గోల్స్కి వీళ్ళు అడ్జస్ట్ కావాలి. రైట్, టేక్ ది కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్, నవరత్నాలు, రైట్, ప్రొవైడింగ్ ఆఫ్ నవరత్నాలు అంత ఈజీ టాస్క్ కాదు. రైట్, ఆన్ వన్ హ్యాండ్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ ఆఫ్ బెనిఫిట్స్, ఆన్ ది అదర్ హ్యాండ్, రైట్, టేకింగ్ బ్యాక్ ది collection of fines, different forms of revenue generation. On one hand you are required to spend, on the other hand you need to earn. Now whose task is this? It is the task of administrators. Right, earn cheyadamu veela duty, spend cheyadam kuda veela duty. It is a difficult situation. Right, so this administrators should be given adequate freedom. Right, that is what the argument of Wilson. So public administration should be removed from the confusions created by politics. It should be removed from hurry and strife of politics. Right, so Wilson himself says that it is very easy to frame a constitution rather than running a constitution. Right, so for having efficient implementation of constitution, we require enough freedom for administration. So without providing freedom to administration, it is not possible for efficient execution of constitution. It is not possible for efficient execution of constitution. Avuna kada? So do you accept with Woodrow Wilson? What about the people who are online? Do you accept with Woodrow Wilson? వుడ్రో విల్సన్ చెప్పింది రైటా రాంగా? Alright, so it is because Woodrow Wilson says that public administration is a business-like activity. This business-like activity should not be blended with politics. Administration is a science. He says that the science of public administration is the latest fruit in the science of politics. Right, ఇవన్నీ గుర్తుంటాయంటే చదువుతూ ఉంటే గుర్తుంటాయి మాకు ఇవన్నీ. రైట్, సో ఇలాంటి రాస్తేనే ఎగ్జామ్లో మంచి మార్క్స్ పడతాయి. రైట్, అట్లీస్ట్ 2 కోడ్స్ వుడ్రో విల్సన్ అడగానే రెండు కోడ్స్ పడాలి ఎగ్జామ్లో. రైట్, so the science of public administration is the latest fruit in the science of administration. Right, sorry, the science of public administration is the latest fruit in the science of politics. That means Woodrow Wilson calls public administration as a science. For him it is a science. It should not be mixed with politics, which is an art. Politics is an art, Babad is a science. That is the reason why it should be separated. Public administration is concerned with what? efficiency, economy and effectiveness. So these three terms, efficiency is possible, effectiveness and economy are possible only when they are according to the principles. Only when principles are followed, only when principles of public administration are followed, then it is possible to have efficiency. So these three E's are possible only if principles of public administration are followed. That means what? Same as principles of physics, principles of chemistry, principles of maths, we have principles of public administration. That is the reason why it is called as science. Science and karanam entidi. Why it is called as science? What is the reason for calling it as science? Because existence of these principles. It is because of this existence of principles. It is because of this principles public administration is made. Public administration is called as a science. Alright? Alright? So these are the arguments. These are the arguments given by Woodrow Wilson for separating administration from politics. Alright? So administration lies outside the proper spheres of politics. The questions of administration are not the questions of politics. That is, the questions of administration are separate from the questions of politics. Right? So administration is a science. It is based upon principles. It is concerned with the work of executive branch. Right? So there is no place for ideology. That is the reason why this public administration should be separated from politics. Okay? Question రాసుకోండి ఇప్పుడు మీకు రెండు క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇస్తా రాయండి. Explain the arguments of Woodrow Wilson. Explain the arguments of Woodrow Wilson. Explain the arguments of Woodrow Wilson for separating public administration with politics. Public administration from politics. Public administration from politics. Alright? So whatever we have said now, they are the reasons for separation. Take to another question, another form of question. The questions of public administration. The questions of public administration are different from the questions of politics. The questions of public administration are different from the questions of politics. Right? By dash betti Woodrow Wilson. Comment. So it is a quote of Woodrow Wilson and you should give a comment on this quote. Alright? So first time you are seeing a question on comment. Till now you are seeing questions on explain, discuss. But it is a question on comment. Just try to write and I will explain. Right? But try to write the answers. మీరు ఆన్సర్స్ రాస్తూ ఉంటే అవి అలవాటు అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. రైట్? ఓకేనా? So this is what you call views of Woodrow Wilson. And another prominent thinker who separated this separation is Frank Goodnow, right? A strong follower of Woodrow Wilson, right? Frank Goodnow, right? So Frank Goodnow says that, not only Frank Goodnow, we have seen L.D. White, Luther Gullig, all following the footsteps of Woodrow Wilson. For them, public administration is concerned only with the executive branch of the government. For them, public administration is concerned only with the implementation or enforcement of public policies. This is what we have seen in the previous class, right? The statements given by different thinkers, right? So, according to Frank Goodnow, Acha Bacha Goodnow, right? Frank Goodnow, the follower of, right, this Frank Goodnow is called as father of American public administration. Alright, so Woodrow Wilson is father of public administration. Identity American public administration. Alright, he says that, right, Frank Goodnow says that public administration politics has to do with making of policies and administration has to do with implementation of policies. Alright, so Frank Goodnow says that politics has to do with making of policies, whereas administration has to do with implementation of policies. Right, so this is the views of Frank Goodnow. That is same thing. Because of this, alright, public administration should be separated from politics. So this is the reason why public administration should be separated from politics. Alright. Okay, now coming to one point of discussion, let us discuss these points. Do you really support separation of administration from politics? So Woodrow Wilson, Frank Goodnow, or you take L. Debate, all these people, all these scholars, they have supported the idea of separating. They have supported the idea of separating public administration from politics. Alright. Now, as a student of public administration in UP, in UPSC and in India, will you support separation of administration from politics? Say yes or no. మీరు separation ని support చేస్తారా చెయ్యరా? Even the one who are in online, give me the answers. Do you support separation? Do you support separation of administration from politics? What is your answers? You said yes. You? అట్లా పార్షల్ ఉంటుంది అయితే ఎస్ అయితే నువ్వే ఉంటుంది కదా, పార్షల్ అయినా సరే, రైట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ యూ వాంట్ టు సపరేట్. టేక్ ఎ క్లియర్ స్టాండ్, because this is what matters in UPSC exam. The final concluding line is very important, right? Whether you conclude separation or not. Do you conclude separation or not? Alright, so in India like countries, in third world countries, remember all these views are given by American scholars, right? These are the views given by American scholars. Alright, so it is the views of American scholars. It is the views of American scholars, right? So they have recommended separation of public administration from politics according to their conditions, according to their requirements. So for their requirements, separation is required. If you take countries like India, right, which are growing, developing, and which have a different kind of socio-economic and political conditions. If you take Indian conditions, Indian mindset, it is totally different. It is totally different. So our conditions are different, our society is different, our needs are different, our political consciousness is different, right? So now in countries like India, do you really apply the principles of American administration? Can we simply follow the kind of public administration that is given by American scholars? వాళ్ళు చెప్పింది మనం బ్లైండ్గా అప్లై చేసుకుందామా ఇండియాలో? అమెరికాలో కండిషన్స్ వేరు, ఇండియాలో కండిషన్స్ వేరు. అమెరికాకు 1778లో, రైట్, 1778లో అమెరికా గాట్ American Constitution was enforced, right? American Constitution was enforced in 1778, right? Now when Indian Constitution was enforced, 1950. వాళ్ళకు మనకు 200 సంవత్సరాల తేడా ఉన్నది. వాళ్ళ సిస్టమ్కి మన సిస్టమ్కి, వాళ్ళ కాన్షియస్నెస్కి మన కాన్షియస్నెస్కి. వాళ్ళకి ఎప్పుడో 1770s ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చింది, మనకు 1950లో ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చింది, రైట్. వాళ్ళది హైలీ మెచ్యూర్డ్ సిస్టమ్. అక్కడ ఇఫ్ టేక్ అమెరికన్ పీపుల్, వెదర్ అమెరికన్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ రియల్లీ డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ అమెరికన్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్, వెదర్ అమెరికన్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ రియల్లీ డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ ది అమెరికన్ గవర్నమెంట్, whether Americans are totally dependent on American government. Alright, it is least dependence. American society is least dependent on American government for their needs. For their needs, they don't depend on government for their food, for their employment, for their anything, right? So there is a least dependence of American society on American government. That means the administration has not so much of responsibilities to the American society. If you take Indian society, the 80% of Indian society are dependent on on the Indian government. 80% of Indian society, they can survive only with the support of government. That means without administration, it is not possible for the Indian society to exist. Ade America lo the support of American government to American people is very less. The dependence of American society on American government is less. So for them separation may work. For them separation of administration from politics may work. If you take India, right, we have a weak political system, right, immature political system. Inkoti entidi, what is the nature of Indian politics? Corruption, highly politicized, what you call, highly criminalized politics. Yes or no? Do you accept or not? So we have a criminalized politics, right? Politicians are laymen, amateurs, అంత నాలెడ్జ్ లేదు వాళ్ళకు. మరి అలాంటి వాళ్ళకి అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ సపోర్ట్ ఉండాలా ఉండకూడదా? షుడ్ దే రిక్వైర్? దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ఇండియా, డోంట్ యూ థింక్ దట్ దెర్ ఇస్ అ నీడ్ ఫర్ సపోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ టు ది పాలిటిక్స్ ఆర్ నాట్? Definitely for India like country, it is not just India. You take Asian countries, African nations, right, the Latin American nations, particularly Asian African nations, there we require a complete support of administration to the politics. So in these countries, separation of politics from administration is not possible and it is not desirable. First of all, right, we cannot advocate separation of administration. We cannot advocate separation of administration from politics because, right, as the political system is in their early age, ఇంకా మనకు 100 సంవత్సరాలు కూడా కాలేదు, నిజంగా మనకు ప్రొఫెషనల్ పొలిటికల్ సిస్టమ్ లేదు. ఇన్ ఇండియా వీ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ a professional political system, right? So in India, politics are always based upon whether an ideology or charisma. What drives Indian political system? Whether political ideology or charisma of the individuals. Indian politics is purely based upon charisma of individuals. It is this charisma that drives, and we see followers. Even the one, if you take the members of political parties, they are the followers of that charisma. అంతవరకే తప్పించి they are not professional politicians. ఎప్పుడైతే పొలిటికల్ సిస్టంలో ప్రొఫెషనలిజం ఉంటుందో అప్పుడు యూ కెన్ ఆస్క్ ఫర్ సపరేషన్. పొలిటికల్ సిస్టంలో ప్రొఫెషనలిజం లేనంత వరకు సపరేషన్ అన్నది డిజైరబుల్ కాదు. వీ కెన్ నాట్ అడ్వకేట్. ఒకవేళ నిజంగానే సపరేట్ చేస్తే ఇట్ విల్ హ్యావ్ ఎ కౌంటర్ ప్రొడక్టివ్. ఇట్ విల్ బి వెరీ కౌంటర్ ప్రొడక్టివ్. అంటే మనకు రివర్స్ కాన్సిక్వెన్స్ ఉంటాయి, అంటే అన్ఫోర్సింగ్ కాన్సిక్వెన్సెస్. అంటే వీ రిక్వైర్ కంప్లీట్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్. అంటిల్ దెన్ separation should not be advised. Alright, so if the question comes on separation, what is your conclusion? Will you support separation or will you oppose separation? ఇదే పాయింట్ రాయాలి ఎగ్జామ్లో. ఎందుకు మనం అపోజ్ చేస్తున్నామంటే ఇన్ డెవలపింగ్ కంట్రీస్ లైక్ ఇండియా వి రిక్వైర్ మ్యూచువల్ కోఆపరేషన్ బిట్వీన్ పాలిటిక్స్ అండ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఎసెన్షియల్ ఫర్ బ్రింగింగ్ డెవలప్మెంట్. ఇది యాక్చువల్ రీజన్. ఇలా రాస్తే 80% మార్క్స్ పడతాయి ఎగ్జామ్లో. అర్థమైందా? వాడు క్వశ్చన్ ఎంత నార్మల్లీ ద క్వశ్చన్ విల్ ఆర్గ్యూ ఇన్ ఫేవర్ ఆఫ్ సపరేషన్, కానీ మనం మాత్రం భయపడద్దు. వాడు సపరేషన్ అది చెప్పినా సరే మనం సపరేషన్ ఒప్పుకోవద్దు. ఎందుకు ఒప్పుకోవద్దంటే ఇండియా లాంటి కంట్రీస్, డెవలపింగ్ కంట్రీస్కి సపరేషన్ పనికి రాదు. పాలిటిక్స్, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇద్దరు కలిసి పనిచేయాలి, ఇద్దరి మధ్యలో కోఆపరేషన్ ఉండాలి అని చెప్పాలి. ఓకేనా? రైట్. దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ అబౌట్ స్టేజ్ 1 ఇన్ ది ఎవల్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. రైట్. So this is about stage 1 in the evolution of public administration. Just read Lakshmikant, don't go beyond Lakshmikant. Lakshmikantలో ఏముందో ఎవల్యూషన్ మాత్రము, స్కోప్, సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్, ఎవల్యూషన్ బ్లైండ్లీ రీడ్ లక్ష్మీకాంత్. మిగతా వాటికి ఐ విల్ గివ్ అనదర్ నోట్స్. రైట్, అవసరం లేదు. హిస్టారికల్ అప్రోచ్, లీగల్ అప్రోచ్, ఫిలాసాఫికల్ అప్రోచ్, రైట్, అది తీసుకోవచ్చు. నాతో ఉన్న అడ్వాంటేజ్ అదే. అడ్వాంటేజ్ అంటే ఏం చదవాలి, ఏం వదిలేయాలి అంతే. రైట్. ఏ టాపిక్లో బట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఎక్కడ వస్తుంది, మనం ఎలా ఆన్సర్ చేయాలి, దానికి మన కంక్లూజన్ ఎంత స్ట్రాంగ్ ఉండాలి. రైట్. దిస్ ఈజ్ ద బేసిక్ అండ్ మెయిన్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ టేకింగ్ క్లాసెస్ ఫ్రమ్ మీ. మీతో ఏ ఫ్యాకల్టీ మీకు చెప్పరు ఇవన్నీ. Next, coming to the second stage in the evolution of public administration. Very, very important, very critical, because if you are good in stage 2, you can understand NPM, new public management, public choice approach. ఇవన్నీ మీకు అర్థమవుద్ది. పబ్లిక్ చాయిస్ అప్రోచ్, న్యూ పబ్లిక్ మేనేజ్మెంట్, లిబరలైజేషన్, ప్రైవేటైజేషన్, గ్లోబలైజేషన్, రైట్, ఇవన్నీ మీకు అర్థం కావాలి అంటే దీనికి బేస్ స్టేజ్ 2. రైట్. Stage 2 in the evolution of public administration. Alright, where the importance is given on principles. Right, the importance is given on principles of public administration. Principles of public administration. Alright. So here the focus of scholars, the focus of public administration is on principles. Right. So the underlying element of stage 2, the underlying element of stage 2 is focus. Whereas if you take stage 1, if you take stage 1, the main underlying element of stage 1 is locus and focus. ఒకసారి మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తా. లోకస్ అండ్ ఫోకస్. Stage 1 has given importance. Stage 1 has given importance to locus of public administration, that is where of public administration, the location of locus అంటే ఏం లేదు, location, where public administration is located, whether within political science or outside of political science. Right. So in stage 1 the stress was on locus of public administration, saying that public administration is outside of political science, that is locus of public administration. Focus is nothing but what you call the underlying element. So now where if you take stage 2, right, in stage 2 importance was given to the focus of public administration. We are not bothered about the location, whether that is the public administrators, the scholars of public administrators, they are least bothered about the location of public administration. They are least bothered about location of public administration. That is they are right, that is they are not bothered whether public administration is within political science or outside of political science. They are not bothered about this location. They are concerned only with focus. That is, what is the focus? The focus is on principles. What are the principles of public administration? Because if you take Woodrow Wilson, what Woodrow Wilson said, public administration is a science. Right? Public administration is concerned with efficiency, economy, effectiveness. This efficiency, economy and effectiveness is possible only when there are principles, only when principles are followed. Then what are principles of public administration? Woodrow Wilson చెప్పలేదు. He said that public administration is science, it is concerned with 3 E's and it should be based upon principle. What are the principles? So whether Woodrow Wilson has given any principles? He has not given any principles. Now this second stage, the second stage in the evolution of public administration, the second stage in the evolution of public administration, it is based upon Wilsonian idea. That means Woodrow Wilson acted as the guiding spirit even for stage 2. అంటే విల్సన్ స్టేజ్ 1కే కాదు, స్టేజ్ 2 కూడా గైడింగ్ స్పిరిటే. ఎందుకు? ఆయనే కదా చెప్పింది ముందు, ఆయనే కదా పబ్బాడ్ సైన్స్ అని చెప్పింది, ఆయనే కదా పబ్బాడ్ ఇస్ కన్సర్న్ విత్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ అని చెప్పింది, ఆయనే కదా ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ని ఫాలో అవ్వమని చెప్పింది. మరి ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఏంటి మనం తెలుసుకోవాలి కదా. సో నౌ ఇన్ స్టేజ్ 2, రైట్, ద స్కాలర్స్ గేవ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ టు ది ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అకార్డింగ్ టు విల్లోవి. గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటే లేదు, పెద్దగా టెన్షన్ ఏం లేదు. Willowy stated that it is the duty of scholars of public administration to bring out the principles of public administration. So now a clear call was given, alright. The scholars of public administration, that means the one who is teaching public administration ekkada American universities lo. Gurtupettukondi, all this is taking place in America. All these are taking place in America. Alright, so now the professors, the teachers, the scholars who are teaching public administration in American universities, they are encouraged to bring out the principles. నువ్వు కొన్ని ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ తీసుకోరా, నువ్వు కొన్ని ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ చెప్పు, మీరు రీసెర్చ్ చేయండి, చూడండి, ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ చేయండి, మీరు రీసెర్చ్ ద్వారా మీరు కొన్ని ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఇవ్వండి, ఒక్కొక్కరు కొన్ని ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఇవ్వండి. అర్థమైందా? ఇది. So in stage 2, importance was given to bring out the principles of public administration. The total focus of scholars of public administration, it was on bringing out the principles. The total focus was on increasing efficiency, effectiveness and economy in the implementation. Alright. So in second stage, principles were given importance. Alright, importance was given to 3 E's. Because of these principles and 3 E's, public administration has become more closer to management. It has got away from political science నుంచి దూరం అయిపోయి కొత్త పార్ట్నర్ ఎవరు? మేనేజ్మెంట్. ఇక్కడ నిజంగానే అసలు అంటే మేనేజ్మెంట్కి అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్కి తేడా లేకుండా పోయింది. తేడా లేదు ఇప్పుడు. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అన్నా వాట్ యు కాల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అని రెండు ఒకటే. సో పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ హ్యాస్ మూవ్డ్ మోర్ క్లోజర్ టు మేనేజ్మెంట్. సో పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ హ్యాస్ బికమ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. ఇంతకుముందు మనం చెప్పినా కదా పారాడిమ్స్లో, పబ్బాడ్ యాజ్ పొలిటికల్ సైన్స్, పబ్బాడ్ యాజ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్, పబ్బాడ్ యాజ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. అసలు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్కి మన ఇండివిజువాలిటీ ఉందా? అదే క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ ఇప్పుడు. రైట్, అదే పొలిటికల్ సైన్సా, మేనేజ్మెంటా, లేకపోతే దానికంటూ ఒక ఇండివిజువల్ ఐడెంటిటీ ఉందా? రైట్. సో నౌ ఇన్ సెకండ్ స్టేజ్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ బికమ్ మోర్ క్లోజర్ టు మేనేజ్మెంట్. ద రీజన్ ఫర్ దిస్ ఈస్ giving importance to principles, giving importance to 3's. So that is, the scholars of public administration, they wanted public administration to be more scientific in nature. Right, they wanted this to be more scientific. అంతే కదా. ఇప్పుడు యూనివర్సిటీస్లో ఆర్ట్స్కి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉంటుందా, సైన్స్కి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉంటుందా? యూనివర్సిటీస్లో సైన్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్కి, సైన్స్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్కి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉంటుందా, ఆర్ట్స్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్కి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉంటుందా? చెప్పండి. ఆర్ట్స్కి ఉంటేనే ఉండదు. మీరు ఎక్కడ కనబడి బీటెక్, ఫస్ట్ బీటెక్, తర్వాత సైన్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్, ఆ తర్వాత ఆర్ట్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్. ఓకేనా? రైట్. సో ఇది కామన్ థింగ్. అంటే ఎందుకంటే సో దట్ మీన్స్ టు ఇంక్రీజ్ ద ప్రెస్టీజ్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్, to increase the status of public administration, what the scholars have done? The scholars they gave highest importance to bring out these principles to make public administration more scientific. అర్థమైందా? ఎందుకు సైంటిఫిక్ అంటే, సైంటిఫిక్ అయితేనే మనకు వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది. సైంటిఫిక్ కాకపోతే you won't be given any value in American universities. So to be called as to become more scientific, Focus was on principles. Alright. So principles, science, 3 E's. They have dominated the second stage. Alright. And what is virtually lost is public in public administration. Public in public administration has been totally lost. Right. So the importance of public, అసలు దీని గురించి ఎవరు పట్టించుకోవట్లేదు. ఇప్పుడు పబ్లిక్ అన్న దాని మీద ఇంపార్టెన్స్ పోయింది. దేనికి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ పెరిగింది? ప్రిన్సిపల్స్కి పెరిగింది ఇంపార్టెన్స్, సైన్స్కి పెరిగింది. పబ్లిక్ అన్న పదానికి ఇంపార్టెన్సే లేదు. అసలు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్లో పబ్లిక్ ఇంపార్టెంటా, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇంపార్టెంటా? మీరు చెప్పండి. పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్లో రైట్, వాట్ బ్రింగ్స్ ఎథికల్ అండ్ మోరల్ క్యారెక్టర్ టు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్? In the previous class I said that public administration is a moral act and public administrators are moral agent. What brings moral and ethical character to public administration? Whether the word public or administration? Public itself, the word public itself that brings ethical and moral character. Right? It is the word public that brings right ethical and moral character to public administration. But what happened? Whether public administration has this, whether the scholars gave importance to the word public? Yes or no? No. Alright, the scholars have forgot, they forgot about public. They have neglected the word public. Public, the word public was not given importance. Highest importance was given to principles. Right? That is the reason why we say that right, the publicness in public administration has lost its impact. That means what? Can we say that public administration, by giving importance to principles and efficiency, that is 3 E's, it has lost ethical and moral character? By giving importance to principles and 3 E's, can we say that public administration has lost ethical and moral character? Yes or no? Yes. By giving importance to efficiency, economy, science, by coming closer to management, public administration has lost its ethical and moral character. It has become what? A value-free science. Right? It has lost ethical and moral character. It has lost ethical and moral character. Alright? Not only this, it has become a value-free science. Alright? So second stage marks the peak stage of public administration, because now scholars said that PubAd is management, PubAd is scientific. By saying this, they elevated the public administration to the status of science. That is the reason why it is regarded as, stage 2 is regarded as the peak stage in the evolution of public administration. Ante ఇది స్టేజ్ 1, ఇది స్టేజ్ 2. పైకి వెళ్ళింది, అమాంతం కింద పడ్డది. రైట్, మళ్ళీ కింద పడుతూనే వచ్చింది, తర్వాత స్లోగా పెరిగింది. ఇది స్టేజ్ 1, స్టేజ్ 2, స్టేజ్ 3, స్టేజ్ 4, ఇది స్టేజ్ 5. అంటే రైజ్ ఒకసారి అయింది, ఫాల్ ప్రతిసారి ఫాల్ అయింది, తర్వాత పెరుగుకుంటూ వెళ్ళింది. రైట్, సో దిస్ ఇస్ అబౌట్ స్టేజ్ 2. ఐఎమ్ క్లియర్ అబౌట్ స్టేజ్ 2. ఓకే, టేక్ డౌన్ అ క్వశ్చన్. ఇప్పటికీ ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అంటే లాస్ ఆఫ్ ఎథికల్ అండ్ మోరల్ క్యారెక్టర్, ఇట్ వాజ్ ఆస్క్డ్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఫర్ 5-6 టైమ్స్ ఇన్ యూపీఎస్సీ మెయిన్స్ ఎగ్జామ్. క్వశ్చన్ రాసుకోండి. స్టేజ్ 2, స్టేజ్ 2 Stage 2, though regarded as a zenith. Stage 2, though regarded as zenith in evolution of public administration, has lost ethical and moral character. Has lost ethical and moral character. Discuss. So answer all the questions in 200 words. Make the habit of writing answers in 200 words. Okay. So this is what for today's class. నాకు తెలిసి 3 daysలో ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్ అయిపోతుంది. ఓకేనా? డన్. రేపు స్టేజ్ 3 స్టేజ్ 4 రైట్. 2 daysలో ఎవల్యూషన్ అయిపోతుంది. 2 daysలో ఎన్పిఏ పబ్లిక్ చాయిస్ అప్రోచ్. డన్. ఈ వీక్లో మనం ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్ అయిపోగొట్టేస్తాం. అయితే అది మీకు యాప్ అవసరం లేదు కదా. మీకు యాప్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి, చేసి పెట్టుకోండి. ఎట్లా మీరు ఆఫ్లైన్కి వస్తారు కదా క్లాస్. చిన్నదన్న 10 days అయితే